Little time by Sagicor Bank is
7 o'clock, and it's time for the morning watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 7128328001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM, Facebook, and YouTube Live in the main watch. The 2022 World Championships and Reggae Girls moving on to the World Cup. And in the second watch, Mobe, Jamaica, the real or the new Wild Wild West? For our social media question, we ask, what were your first thoughts when you heard about or witnessed the July 19th shootout in Sam Sharp Square, Mobe? Share your responses on our Facebook, YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp your comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first here's I quote.
Believe me, the world is not so great without the struggle. That there from Wilma Rudolph.
It's quite
inspiring. Yes.
Inspiring. Deidre Parchment, good day. How are you, madam?
I am good, thank you, Stokeley. How are you?
I'm well. Looking forward to a great program.
Yes, wonderful.
The main watch. We'll be back after this break.
We are a proud, resilient nation.
60 and growing stronger. Together we'll make the future bright. With flow by our side. One love. Black, green, and gold all the way.
Keeping the link strong. Out many.
To everyone.
No flow from Flow, Jamaica's network.
When your little one has his first friend, they share hugs, games, and germs as well. He needs to be strong. Protect them with Nestle Clem 1 Plus. Clem 1 Plus contains prebiotics, vitamins, and minerals that contribute to maintain a healthy digestive and immune system, helping them to achieve 100% protection plus nutrition. Nestle Clem 1 Plus. Your love, their future. Clem 1 Plus is not a breast milk substitute from 1 year onward.
Juicy patty them double up the choices. And we know say you want to like it. And you face start your morning and fright with a cup of porridge full up of beer niceness. Two combination, which one we try first? When you a go to school or you a go to work, or what we double can fit twice the flavor. Or could have the pecan you end up a pay for. Try our pecan porridge, that's peanut mixed with hominy. Or our double corn porridge, that's hominy mixed with cornmeal. Try it today at Juicy Patties.
Available at participating stores.
The Jamaica Agricultural Society, in association with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, present
the Denbigh Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show
from July 30 to August 1
at the Denbigh Showground, Maypen, Clarendon. Gates open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily.
Admission $1,200 for adults, $600 for children. Jamaicans, grow smart, eat smart. Come celebrate Jamaica 60 at Denbigh 2022.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law, Wednesdays at 6:20 a.m., 2:35, 6:45, and 9:10 p.m. on Love 101 FM.
King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow. Some summer. 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Run a summer. Enough winnings. Make sure you're in it.
Win your share of over $60 million in cash and prizes. Scratch your phone and win instant prize. Plus a chance for win weekly prize of cash, tablets, and smart TVs. Dial *129 *6 number sign to activate any unlimited social plan. Get a yard and road plan or pay your bill on time and in full to win. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Flow some summer. Fun a summer. 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Some summer. Enough winnings. Make sure you're in it. The king said that. King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow some summer. Plenty prize in a flow some summer.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. World Champs 2022 is over. Jamaica, third overall out of approximately 200 countries that entered. And the Reggae Girls are off to World Cup. Historic achievement, having qualified for consecutive FIFA World Cup tournaments. All this happened in the past few days. Let's recap the highs and lows. We have as our guests today none other than Carol Beckford, sports marketer, and Daniel Blake, sports analyst and commentator, host Sports Talk on Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. Good morning, Carol Beckford. Good morning, Daniel Blake.
Morning. Good morning. How are you guys? Daniel, nice to meet you.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Great. Now, first of all, the highs or the high points and the low points from the World Champs 2022. I'm going to start with you, Carol Beckford. We know your long history, your illustrious history in sports. For you, what were the highlights of World Champs 2022?
Right, let me start with Jamaica. Certainly, Brittany Anderson's run in the hurdles is probably one of the most outstanding. I mean, maybe I've become accustomed to the sweep. I'm a little older than Daniel, so I've been seeing the 1-2-3 for a little bit, or 1-2-2, as we have had it. Only Jamaica, I think, has ever done 1-2-2. The ladies did put on a great show. Actually counted 10 medals. These weren't the 10 medals that I expected. But the reason why Brittany in the hurdles is because we were all betting for her to beat Camacho, but then I don't think a lot of us were planning for Miss Amusan to just come through like that. So in my mind, Brittany surpassed all our expectations. So that is my thing for Jamaica. Overall, of course, Sydney McLaughlin 50.68 in the 400 hurdles. I mean, it's an outstanding achievement any way you look at it. So those were my two highlights for Jamaica and the overall championship itself.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol Beckford. Daniel.
Yeah, the highlights from a Jamaican perspective, everyone would have loved Shelley and Fraser Price winning the 100 meters. I think a lot of people felt that Elaine Thompson-Herah last year would have reached a new level. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for her. Shericka Jackson, our national champion, people thought she was in world record-breaking form, but Shelley and Fraser Price throughout the season has consistently run 10.6 and 10.7, and she did it again, her fifth world title. So I think that is one of the highlights. Shericka Jackson doing one of arguably the best performances in track and field history with that 21.45 in the 200 meters, not too far off from Flojo's record, which some people thought wasn't touchable. Now we're thinking that she's going to get there at some point. In terms of the disappointments, I think there's only one major one, which is Hansa Parchment not being able to contest the 110-meter hurdles finals. Coming into the season, he had, a great season. Years gone by, his start was an issue, but he fixed that and he was pretty dominant. So even though people were hyping up Devon Allen and Grant Holloway, you felt that this was Hansa Parchment's gold medal, but he got injured during that pre-race warm-up, and it was just very unfortunate. So I think that was the main disappointment, but overall, I think if you are a track and field fan, you certainly enjoyed watching the World Championships.
Yes, very disappointing there, as you spoke about there, Daniel. But did Jamaica do as expected? I think, Carol Beckford, you're saying that you counted, those 10 medals and they were achieved. But Daniel, for you, did Jamaica do as expected for you?
I think they did. There are a few events that I probably, not actually bet on, but I figured that they would have gotten medals in. For example, the men's 4x1, I didn't expect us to get gold, but I thought with those 4 men, Oblique Seville, Akeem Blake, Johan Blake, and whoever else that you put on the team ended up, you would end up with a medal at least, including the men's individual event. You felt that Oblique Seville could stop the American sweep. Didn't happen. The mixed 4x4 team you thought was good enough. The Hansa Parchment gold medal, as I mentioned. So, finishing with 2 gold, 7 silver, and a bronze is not bad at all. You honestly can't complain. You would really have to nitpick to say, oh, Jamaica didn't do well, or we should have gotten more medals, or that type of thing. I think that maybe the color of some medals were a bit of a surprise, but finishing with 10 medals is very commendable, and these athletes did extremely well.
It's actually pretty outstanding in the scheme of things. Jamaica is not a large country in terms of size when it compares to many other countries, but as usual, we are always punching above our weight. Comments on Carol Beckford?
No, listen, as I said, over the years, I remember the first World Championship in 1983 in Helsinki, Finland, and Bertland Cameron and Merlin Otte were the only 2 medal winners, and I was in high school at the time. And then we all had expectations going into the Olympics, which would have been in Los Angeles in 1984. And the Jamaican performances in track and field kind of took a turn back up, because after McKinley and company back in 52, and then we went to Moscow in 1980 when America didn't go. So 84 was when we started to look that direction again, and we had a lull, and then we had a little dip back in the 90s. Raymond Stewart, Clive Wright, and some of those people carried the mantra, and then Merlin and company. So I've had the privilege of seeing those performances, and over the years, what has happened is just we leveled off, certainly in late 2000s, and I think subsequently, I don't want to use the word spoiled, but we have become accustomed to winning medals. But what has happened is that we've diversified. I mean, we had 2 women in the long jump in the top 12, in high jump, sorry. We had 3 people in the top 15 in triple jump for women. That has been an event that we have been in and out. Trisha K. Smith had set the pace some years ago. So I think overall there has been wider participation, but our medals are still coming back to the fore in the same event. What is happening is that our men, and I probably should let into a little secret, the U.S. men when they came off the podium after Houston just obliterated them between 2008, they went back to what we would call the drawing board and the IMG Academy. These four or five youngsters that used to know were being specially prepared. So Noah Lyles and all of those fellows were in specific training programs, and that's where you cross the difference between resources and resources. So they've been able to
Hold that thought, Carl Beck. Only because we're upon a break. Only because you're upon a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the morning watch.
Tired of the high interest rates and the whole heap of loan payments every month? Take a debt consolidation loan from AIM to pay credit card bills and all other high interest rate loans from other institutions. Make one low monthly payment to AIM and take home some extra money in your pocket. That's financial freedom. One loan, one low payment, more money in your pocket. Call AIM today to lower your loan payments. And remember, you won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
We are a proud, resilient nation.
60 and growing stronger. Together we'll make the future bright. With flow by our side. One love. Black, green, and gold all the way.
Everyone, keeping the link strong. And many.
To everyone.
No flow from Flow, Jamaica's network.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile. Cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Natural, fruity, refreshing goodness in a bottle. It's Clarendon Blend's natural juices, packed with vitamin C and fruit-delicious goodness. Try one of our exotic flavors today: pineapple grapefruit, sorrel mango, guava pineapple, and mango pineapple. Clarendon Blend's natural juices, refreshingly flavorful. Manufactured by Taiju Company Limited, Palmer's Cross, Maypen.
Welcome back. We are back outside with family, friends, and more fun at Fun Fest Family Festival. Monday, August 1st, come experience the new Hope Garden. Bounce, spin, ride, play, splash in the fantastic fun zone, games arcade, and bingo. Adults 1,000, children 3 years and over 700, and toddlers free. Fun Fest Family Festival, Monday, August 1st, Emancipation Day at the new Hope Garden. Gates open at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come out early.
You know you like that. Make an impact on your career. Earn real money. Get 3 to 4 local and international certification in practical nursing and early childhood education with free CXC or CAPE subjects in 6 to 12 months at Distinction College, located at 26 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 6 Nugent Street, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios. Earn global certificates in 3 months in geriatric nursing, phlebotomy, childcare. We have the lowest school fees around. Classes begin very soon. Call us 356-4167.
It's Emancipation Park's 20th anniversary celebrations and you're invited. On Sunday, July 31, it's our Thanksgiving ceremony. Then on August 1, it's Redemption Fest. Both events start at 6 p.m. admission free. Emancipation Park anniversary celebrations, July 31 and August 1.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the main watch, and our guests are Carol Beckford, sports marketer, and Daniel Blake, sports analyst and commentator, host, Sports Talk on Love 101 FM. And the topic in this main watch, the 2022 World Championships and Reggae Girls moving on to the World Cup. Carol Beckford, just before the break, you were letting us in on what appears to be a little secret of the Americans, where they went back to the drawing board and used their vast resources to, as it were, try to catch up with us and even, unfortunately for us, beat us. Carol Beckford, do you want to finish developing that point?
No, I wouldn't say it was unfortunate. I mean, let me tell you what happened. Remember the Santa Monica boys of Carl Lewis, Leroy Burrell, and Don Drummond, and that set were the pioneers in the sport at the time when they were competing against Raymond Stewart, Linford Christie, Gregor McGill, and our boys. And so we've been playing. It's been a U.S. Jamaica rivalry, even when remember they were dropping batons and so on. So they've always had cases to do this. But the Bolt era kind of just, decimated them, and they said, all right. So the IMG Academy, which is a place that most sports go, but young Lyles and those youngsters came out of that. And they were being patient. One of the things, if nothing else, the conversation that I'd like to leave with our listeners and viewers is we have to be patient. Other countries have resources, and that's where they beat us. So those numbers, that population in terms of per capita, they have resources that we will never ever have. What we have is talent and will, and let's call it superpower. But we can't compete, when you think of prevention and care, they have whirlpools and, we still going into ice baths in a bucket or in a drum. And those things matter because you're competing with them. And unfortunately, that is where the rubber hits the road. So the Jamaican spirit runs through. But I'm saying we're going to have to be patient with our men. I think there's a young set of men that are hungry and they're going to come through. And I think post Olympics in Paris in 2024, we're going to see the emergence and at least competitiveness of those young men. At the risk of calling names, I'm talking about people like Antonio Watson, Nigel Ellis. Come, Daniel, help me with the names. Will mature and do better and so on. So we're going to have a nice set of young men coming through. And our women, the pool is wide. When you look at hurdles, we have people can throw around, God forbid, and so on. And even the discuss, we're going to have a heptathlete in the women's competition at the World Championship level in another 2 years. So I'm thinking we're in good shape. We just need to redirect our resources in the right place.
Daniel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the patience aspect, I don't think Jamaicans understand how to be patient. Before Bolt had gotten to that.
I'm cutting into you, Daniel. Did you see that recent rant of Asafa Powell on YouTube?
I did. When we spoke back in December, he had similar sentiments. Simply because I just think that Jamaicans are, I think Carol didn't say spoiled earlier, but I'm going to say spoiled because remember, even before 2008, when Bolt broke through, people were criticizing him on a regular basis. And this was a 18, 19-year-old boy who was just trying to make it. And then he makes it. He was arguably the most dominant Jamaican athlete at the time. We didn't have other men, probably apart from Asafa Powell, Michael Frater, and so forth. But Bolt was essentially the only male athlete who was picking up medals on a regular basis. And now Bolt retires and everybody's saying, we're in a crisis. We had a super athlete and it's going to take time to either find a new super athlete or get another athlete who will be able to compete with the Americans. And, we saw Oblique Seville, he is rising, 9.86, I think is best this year. And if he continues to progress, he'll be doing 9.7 and he'll be competing against the Americans very well. Similarly with Akeem Blake, the 200 meters is going to be a concern going forward, but when some of the names like Carol Beckford mentioned, like Antonio Watson and several others start to do it, who knows? We'll be competitive soon. But I think that we need to understand that essentially nothing in life is a given. You're not going to wake up next year and you're going to see Jamaica dominate the men's 100 meters and 200 meters again. It just doesn't work that way.
We don't know the sacrifices that some of these athletes have to endure on a daily basis whilst we're busy doing other things. But I want to switch gears very quickly here in the time we have left. Carol Bedford, the Reggae Girls, and how they are doing. And sometimes I think we don't remember just how spectacular their achievements are. Carol Bedford?
English-speaking Caribbean country that has gone to the World Cup twice in the last 10 years is a considerable achievement. I mean, and we have, again, women participating in football in the international circles at different clubs. I mean, Khadija Shaw at Manchester City is probably the ultimate in terms of representation. And then these ladies are now all spread in clubs and or academies, like Jodie Brown is at a football academy of sorts. So we have a good spread. It's an incredible achievement for our country so small. And again, we have to exercise patience. I know we cuss the JFF every day, but the truth is that when we look at the social issues we face and how our budgets have applied, we're going to have to call on private individuals and private sectors to make some investments to ensure that sport. I mean, I feel like a gatekeeper because I've been doing it for so long. And I think we can redirect our resources to assist in a better way and make it, fundamentally stronger. But we need leadership. We need leadership at the highest level from a policy standpoint and from an operational standpoint to ensure that the sporting talent and products that we have get the proper investment. I just still find we see it as something almost as a hobby. And I don't think enough attention is being paid to properly secure the investment that we need. The money is there, but it's not directed. But again, kudos to the woman. Fidela Mali has been a champion. She continues to be. And I'm hoping that going to the World Cup next year in Australia and New Zealand, and then I think they have one more round, Daniel, before they get to the Olympics. I think they play something else.
Yeah, the CONCACAF
before
Olympics.
They actually qualify. The truth is, I'm getting, these youngsters are falling out of the age range of people. So I have to catch up. I have to listen to people like Daniel all the time. I follow him on Twitter, so I know most things that he does and says. So I'm actually excited to be on a program with somebody so young, but so impactful, by the way. So I guess this is my way of saying, good job, Daniel. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and in fact, Daniel, I mean, in terms of what's next, for Jamaica and, helping the men as well as the women to develop, because sometimes one gets the feeling, what's happening to the guys? What are they doing? Is it something that needs to be done to help the men to step up a little bit more? I know Carl Beckford made some comments. Your thoughts, Daniel, before we wrap?
I think that holistically, we need to invest in sports in Jamaica. I think every year we keep saying the same things. I think at one point we used to say sports is a multi-million-dollar industry. Now in 2022, we're saying it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And yet the government, the private sector, all these people still have not put sports first. And I think once you start to do that, you
of Jamaica
long term.
You mean the private sector of Jamaica?
The government and the private sector, because if you look at what's happening worldwide, companies are actually winning more because they're sponsoring teams, athletes, all these clubs, because they are being seen worldwide. Jamaica has one of the best women's footballers in the world right now, yet you probably can't name 2 or 3 private sponsorships that she has. Or athletes constantly go on the world stage and do these amazing things, but yet still most of our track and field events here are, they come with very little sponsorship. And you wonder, why is this happening? And everyone will gather around a TV come World Champs time or Olympics time. And then when these athletes complain, we call them ungrateful. So once we start to take sports very seriously here in Jamaica, we'll not only see the benefits for the athletes and the teams, but these very same companies and the economy will be at a level where, you know, we'll be just throwing money at them and it won't even seem like an issue because money will be coming back 3-4 times over.
You know, have to leave it this morning, but Carol Beckford also mentioned the matter of policy. Carol Beckford, Daniel Blake, I want to thank both of you for being with us this morning on the morning. Excellent comments from both of you. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Talk to Jan Bank today to find out about achieving your own sweet home in 30 days. The time by Jan Bank Mortgage is
7:30.
King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow. Some summer 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Enough winnings, make sure you're in.
Win your share of over $60 million in cash and prizes. Scratch your phone and win instant prize, plus a chance for win weekly prize of cash, tablets, and smart TVs. Dial *129*6 number sign to activate any unlimited social plan. Get a yard and road plan or pay your bill on time and in full to win. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Flow some summer. For the summer 60 mil cash and prize for the winners. Some summer. Enough winnings, make sure you're in. The king said that. King for the summer. Flow, you are the king for the flow some summer. Plenty prize in a flow some summer.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Oh yeah, this Fosca, made in Jamaica. Porridge, oats, oatmeal, cornmeal with banana.
Yo, proud of we culture, yes, we love Fosca. Whole heap of protein, good source of fiber.
Love my family, yeah. Me love my Fosca. I feel with Fosca, I feel with Fosca. Me love with Fosca, I feel with Fosca.
We have to prosper with our Fosca. Good for the sugar level and the blood pressure.
Made in Jamaica, yeah. We love with Fosca.
It hurts if you don't check earth. Be excellent customer service. Our staff is knowledgeable and trustworthy. And we have a wide variety to supply society. And the price is right, yes, it's worth it. The solution to your auto parts needs to one-stop shop. And we deliver to, so if you can't come in, just link with our WhatsApp. Or call and make your order. And remember, there's no other. So it hurts if you don't check earth. So there's no need to search. It hurts if you don't check earth.
8884 Gas Pro. That's the only number you need to know. 8884 Gas Pro. Safety first, that's for sure. We feel it right. So when you're ready to light, day or night, the blue flame burns bright. So when you time you need cooking gas, call Gas Pro and you get it fast. 8884 Gas Pro. Get attached to the one you know.
Gas Pro, gas professionals.
We are a proud, resilient nation.
60 and growing stronger. Together we'll make the future bright. With Flow by our side. One love. Black, green, and gold all the way.
Everyone, keeping the link strong. And many. To everyone.
No flow from Flow, Jamaica's network.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. We have a story of concern here in the Gleaner. 2 wanted men now in custody in Westmoreland. And the concern, of course, is in relation to crime. We seem to have a perpetual problem there, and hopefully justice will be served in relation to these 2 men now in custody. Not saying that they're guilty of anything, but we do hope and pray that the government will get a better grip and a better handle on crime. We pray for the security forces. And a little bit of better news we have in the Observer: tourism uptick. This story here by Anthony Lewis, Observer writer. Montego Bay St. James in yet another indicator of the continued recovery of the tourism sector, Sanks International Airport in Montego Bay has seen a 120% jump in passenger traffic for the first half of this year when compared to 2021. Those and many other stories in both major daily newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read for you some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question, which is, what were your first thoughts when you heard about or witnessed the July 19th shootout in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp your comments and voice notes too. 876-9973125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Keep fully connected with Flow Fiber Fast Internet at home and on the road with LTE data and calls for a fast, reliable experience anywhere. Over 500 communities have been upgraded since 2020, making more of Jamaica Flow Fiber Fast. And with Yard and Road, get Flow Fiber Faster Yard and LTE Road for as low as $3,999 plus GCT. Visit discoverflow.co to get connected on Jamaica's largest network. Conditions apply.
Family Tree Hardware. With the lowest price and the best quality, we care. We are helping to build Jamaica a place to live. At Family Tree. Tree. Call us at 668-3341. At Family Tree. Tree.
Family Tree Hardware, Lot 7 Elshire Main Road, Brayton, St. Catherine.
Bashco time. All the things that you need for your home with prices so low, you would never need a loan at Bashco. At Bashco. Shopping. Appliances, houseware, furniture, and rugs. Gifts and linens and glass and mugs at Bashco. Oh, you're shopping at Bashco. Whether the north or so in the east and the west, Bashco, them all over, they must be the best at Bashco. At Bashco. Oh, you're shopping at Bashco. At Bashco. 30 years giving you more.
Are you looking to unlock your career this summer? Build your skill set through the free GSS and one-on-one summer program. Explore opportunities in accounting, business, information and industrial technology, internship opportunities, career support and mentorship advice from industry experts through the virtual experience. You must be 16 to 20 years old to register. Registration now open. Visit careersunlocked.org for more information. Say yes to GSS this summer and unlock your career.
Welcome back to the Morning Walk. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Deidre for a look at our social media friends, Facebook, WhatsApp. Answer today's question. What were your first thoughts when you heard about or witnessed the July 19th shootout in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay? Deidre?
Joan from Westmoreland says, good morning. These people are mad. Middle day. Oh my God, they have no heart for each other. Cherry from Spanish Town. My first thought was if it was the wild, wild west. Two grown men firing at each other because of bad driving. Where are the examples for the younger and young people? And we have a voice note from Edna.
Good morning, Adri. Good morning, Stokey. And your guests on the morning watch, Daniel and Miss Beckford. My first thought when I heard about the shooting in Montego Bay is Jamaica becomes the wild, wild west. These people are crazy. Yeah, that's what my first thought. Can you imagine? In the busy, buzzing town, Sham Sharp Square, Montego Bay, that place is always buzzing with a lot of people. Oh my God, you could have heard that so many people got shot. But to God be the glory. I tell you, these people are really crazy, man. I hope they get the right length of the law. Come on, stop enough to put to these things, man.
DJ, I have no comments to make in relation to those social media comments because they have spoken. Our
They have
listeners have
spoken.
spoken. They have spoken. They have spoken. We move right into the second watch, which is in relation to that very same matter, topic, area. Now, there were no movie cameras, no sound was set up. There are no movie stars, as we understand movie stars, or who we understand them to be. There were no extra actors around to, make the scene more real. It was, however, in live and living color. A 2022, you could say, Jamaican version of the Wild Wild West scene being executed right in front of those going about their business in broad daylight in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay, St. James. By the way, this is still the tourist capital of Jamaica. Yes. And so the questions abound. We have as our guests this morning in this second watch, Mr. Keith Spence, a Montego Bay resident, businessman, and I will add witness to what transpired in Sam Sharp Square. He was there, literally. I would not have wanted to have been in this position. I've been to Montego Bay several times. I know Sam Sharp Square. I know what the traffic can be like there. I would not have wanted to have been stuck in traffic there at the time. We also have online Dr. Jason Mackay, criminologist and Chief Executive Officer of Mackay Security. Good morning, Mr. Smith, Mr. Spence, and good day, Dr. Mackay. How are you both today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, how was this even possible? In broad daylight on busy streets, a shootout between two men? Well, let us start from a more philosophical perspective, if that is the correct word to use. Dr. Mackay, what would have, as a criminologist, sir, what would have two grown men be trading bullets in the middle of a busy thoroughfare at that time? Just get into the minds of such a person at this time and see if you can assist the listeners.
Well, I'm glad you're approaching it from that standpoint, because a lot of persons who have interviewed me on this have sort of looked at it through their own eyes. But when you're trying to, different circumstances that lead up to peculiar events or what seems to be very irresponsible events, you always have to try and look on the actual perpetrators and who they are and what they are experiencing at the time. Now remember, these two men have both not just past interviews at some stage of their life to acquire a firearm. They've gone through processes.
Unfortunately, you seem to be, Dr. Mackay, unfortunately, sometimes we're not hearing you so clearly. Maybe if you speak more directly,
help a little better.
If you could speak more directly into the device, it might assist. Go again.
Hearing me better now?
Slightly, but
Are you hearing me better now?
I think so. Try again.
What I'm saying is good. You're examining it from the point of view of what was going through their mind, because it gives you a more accurate perspective as to how something like this could happen. And I think initially what happened was, from what I've been told, and I don't know how accurate it is, it's a case under investigation. It's video footage. We're trying to judge something that occurred. But from what I understand happened, and what I've been told happened, is it started with a physical fight between an older man and a much younger man. And during the physical altercation, the older man drew his firearm because he was being beaten up. And then the younger man and him exchanged fire. I don't know who shot who first. And then it is at that point that the videos came on. So what you're looking at is, sorry? Hello?
Oh, sorry about that, Dr. Mackay. We are already upon a break, and we want to hear from Mr. Spence, who was on the scene at the time. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Hi, I'm Dunstan Bryan, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. July is Healthcare Worker Appreciation Month. Jamaica's healthcare workers of all categories stand apart as among the most hardworking and dedicated in the public service. I say thank you to all 25,000 healthcare professionals who give sacrificially, even in the midst of crisis. Your investment continues to transform the health sector and Jamaica at large. This month, we celebrate you and honor your tremendous contribution to the nation. Happy Healthcare Worker Appreciation Month.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. 8884 Gastro. That's the only number you need to know. 8884 Gastro. Safety first, that's for sure. We feel it right. So when you're ready to light, day or night, the blue flame burns bright. So when you time you need cooking gas, call Gas Pro and you get it fast. 8884 Gas Pro. Get attached to the one you know. Gas Pro, the gas professionals.
Win a bag of cash for back to school with Alliance MoneyGram Money Transfer. Every MoneyGram Money Transfer you collect at an Alliance agent from now until September 9 gives you a chance to win a share of $2.8 million in cash.
That's a bag of cash.
10 winners of $20,000 from each parish, right in time for back to school from Alliance.
A bag of things for back to school.
Alliance, a member of Sagicor Group Jamaica. Conditions apply.
Tell me where you get the money transfer.
Alliance.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and we're speaking to Keith Spence, a Montego Bay resident and witness, as well as Dr. Jason Mackay, criminologist and Chief Executive Officer of Mackay Security. And in this second watch, we're looking at the recent incident that had taken place on July 19th, Montego Bay, Jamaica. And the topic is Montego Bay, Jamaica, the real or new Wild Wild West. The real or new Wild Wild West. And Dr. Mackay, I want to thank you for that introduction where you indicated to us, you know, what could have been going through the mind of these relevant persons at the time, at the material time. Not making any excuses for the incident, but it's good sometimes to get that other perspective. Keith Spence, you were a witness to what had happened. You were on the scene at the time. I don't want to even imagine what was going through your brain when you saw what was unfolding, but you indicate to the listeners, from the vantage point of someone who could have even been injured, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you are here safe and sound. What happened as far as you can recall, Mr. Spence? Unfortunately, we're not seeming to hear you, Mr. Spence, or is it our end or your end, sir? I see you're making an adjustment, but I think you're muted, Mr. Spence. I see evidence that you're muted. You're not muted now, but we're still not hearing you. You may want to not try using the earpiece. Maybe you could try just speaking directly into the microphone of your device without using the earpiece. I don't know if that will assist. But Dr. Mackay, while we try to resolve the issues with Mr. Spence, for someone who would have been on the scene at the time, Dr. Mackay, who through no fault of their own, they happen to be there. Any comments, Dr. Mackay, in relation to that?
Just before I answer, I hadn't completed your previous question before we had
Please go ahead. I thought you were through.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying is that based on what has been presented so far, what you saw being played out was two persons who were already wounded. And this will impact the behavior of somebody, you know, who has been shot.
You mean wounded physically or wounded in terms of how they felt?
No, they're shot already.
They're already physically wounded.
Both parties had been shot.
Okay.
But the videos that we're seeing is post them being shot, you know?
I see. And in relation to someone who would have been a witness, wrong place at the wrong time, you could have been shot. Get into the point who would have been there.
Well, from the point of view of persons being there, they're just going to hear gunfire and then see this playing out. The normal, in normal behavior would be to try and get yourself away from something like that. But I find a very peculiar reaction to the people move towards the gunfire. Right. I can't quite understand why. But once you hear gunfire, people move towards it.
What about if you're stuck in traffic and you can't drive either forward or backward, you're just sitting in your vehicle?
Go very low. Because you always present yourself a very small target. Now make yourself an extremely small target. Although a car is not a very effective protection from ballistic projectiles, it still is better than nothing at all. And if you're in the car, just lie flat as you can in the car. If you're out of the car and you find yourself in line, your best situation is to get very flat on the ground. Because sometimes by trying to run up and down, if you're already in the line of fire, you're going to run into the line of fire because it's dramatically changing every second the shots are fired. It's a real shooting, you know. It's not something that's staged. So, if you're outside the vehicle, get extremely flat. If you're in the vehicle, get extremely flat. Of course, if you're not in the line of fire at all and can separate yourself, you know, then do so. But it's very important to make yourself a very low target while doing that.
Let's see if we can have back Mr. Spence on. Mr. Keith Spence, are we hearing now?
Hi, morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we are hearing you now, sir. Yes, indeed, we are. The technology today having some challenges. I
don't know what went wrong with the technology.
You were an eyewitness to this, Mr. Spence. What?
Yes. Unfortunately, I was very much caught up in the whole happenings that morning. And I will mention, you mentioned before the movie. May I add that the stage has been set and continues to be set because of a buckling infrastructure system. There's a phenomenon known as road rage that it transcends the normal reasoning. I have been a victim of it, and I saw it playing out itself in Sam Sharp Square. That is a four-way roadway that has now a whole section of the release area has been blocked off and become a walking hip strip. So the congestion is there. It's just sitting and waiting in the wings to happen every single day. What happened on that fateful morning with those two men? And, it's a matter before the court. And I have to be very careful how I divulge what I saw. But I was there for quite an extended time to the point where I said, no, man, I am going to start filming. So I went back in my vehicle and started to capture what I saw because everything that I saw was contrary to law, being a carrier myself. Later to find out that both these men were civil servants, ex-servicemen at a point, by matter of fact. So nothing would have precluded them from obtaining a firearm license, even under the current more stringent regime, right? So road rage is something that all of us need to take into consideration and take into responsibility our response to other persons. Those men lost it. One in particular, which was more the agitator, being verbally abusive, and then to what I couldn't hear, so it is alleged that he said, "I will shoot you in your face." And in exiting his vehicle, his firearm became exposed, and the other gentleman in defense attempted to incapacitate the threat. And it just escalated and escalated into what we saw going on there. But neither men were in the accident. They had, one was just, going around the roundabout, a coaster bus fishtails and collides with a Mercedes Benz. And this onlooker, the typical Jamaican, get involved with what don't have nothing to do with him. Start telling him I block the road and him cause the accident, and just buy out the whole thing as usual. And tempers started to flare. And that's what led to it. These men were not in a collision amongst themselves.
So
I have been telling people to get down because they were running into the gunfire on their cars, standing on their doors, looking, and I'm saying, get down, get down. You know, at one stage, one of the gentlemen with the firearm was heading towards me, and the thought did occur. His action was definitely criminal. And I'm saying to myself, and then, something else, say, you know what, leave it alone. Don't get involved. Because here this man, he shoots a man. I see when he gets a shot. And then hunts him down and shots him a second time. I said, no, that can't be right. Irrespective of what that guy may have done. This is illegal. This is not why any of us, not the police or much more a private citizen, have the right to life.
I want to find out from you, Mr. Spence, is at the time when you were a witness, you were a passenger in a vehicle, you were the driver of your vehicle, or I
was the driver. I was the driver heading towards Sam Sharp Square along St. James Street in the vicinity of Juicy Beef when the shots started to ring out and the two men started to separate from each other. Exactly what was going on, but we heard the gunshot.
Were you in a line of heavy traffic?
No. I had a clear sight. My video shows I could, there was one Voxy, one car ahead of me. One car.
Okay.
So I was able to film.
You mentioned being outside of your vehicle. At what point did you get outside of your vehicle? When
the gunshot started, I didn't want to be in the vehicle. So I got out and got low.
I see. So you would have...
And watching and observing the carryings on at the time.
So you would have taken some of the advice from Dr. Mackay, because he did say if you're outside, you should get low. I see.
Well, there's a proverb, African proverb that says, it's better to be laughed at running away from danger than to be mourned by challenging it. So I took the latter, and stayed clear of and low, which is what we ought to do.
Okay. We're literally out of time already, and Montego Bay is the tourist capital of Jamaica. Any comments, Mr. Spence, because this obviously doesn't look good for Jamaica.
I see the government doing a very positive thing by engaging the bypass. We must release the congestion. You've put too much rat in a box, eventually one rat will be too much. That is the study on road rage. So when we release the tension, release the stress, I think things should improve, and we should see a better community, and more ease of movement and ways to do business, and grow the economy of Montego Bay.
Unfortunately, we're totally out of time already, never enough time on the Morning Watch. I want to thank Keith Spence for sharing his experience, and Dr. Mackay for sharing his perspective on what had recently happened. Very unfortunate incident, and we await the wheels of justice to turn on this one. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we look at up and controversial issues and Love 101 FM YouTube channel and Facebook page for this and all other Love 101 FM programs. And of course, listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to us, the family station. Love 101 FM, the #1 gospel station in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Wash. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokeley Marshall, handing it back to Love in the Morning with Deidre Parchment.